Hello everyone, and welcome back once again to Cosy Reads. I hope you've all been keeping well. Thank you for joining me today as we take a look at a different type of series for this channel. This new series will be called The Wonderful World of Myths and Legends, following the tales of fantastical beings from ages past that helped inspire some of the characters in my stories, with today's video focusing on the warrior and teacher goddess, Scáthach. So without further ado, I hope you're all feeling comfortable. Make sure to grab yourself a hot drink or a cold one, maybe a snack if you need it. Get yourself nice and warm, covered up under a blanket or snuggled on the couch, and get yourself ready for a new story. Part 1. About Scathe. Scathe from the Regalion universe is a first one goddess. She rules over her own realm as a benevolent and kind goddess, and she supports other realms too, notably Max's realm, since it is missing its first one god. Scathe acts as a kind mentor, guide and teacher for the main hero group. She supports them in many different ways, notably in being able to identify powerful artifacts like the amulet, and providing the heroes with places of where to go next on their adventures, due to her foresight and far-seeing eye. She also trains the heroes, as she was the first one who helped train Max and Scarlet, providing them with further training so that they can not only match but best the Reapers. She then also trains the others from the main hero group, training Jezebel, Bree, Hector and Seraph, amongst others. Her history is currently shrouded in mystery, as she doesn't reveal much to the group, but it is clear that there is more to Scathe, far more than she lets on. She has artifacts from previous warriors she has trained as well, showing how travelled and experienced she is. No one knows her true purpose, whether she is completely a friend of the people, or if she is hiding ulterior motives. But for now, she works to protect Max's realm, and put a stop to the corruption. Part 2. About Scáthach. In brief, Scáthach was a warrior and teacher goddess who trained the likes of Cullen. She is a figure from the Ulster cycle of Irish mythology, known as the Shadow or the Warrior Maid, and is the rival of her sister, Aoife, both of which are the daughters of Ardgraim of Lethra. And apologies if I do get some of these names wrong. Scottish or Irish, neither one of them are my native languages, as I'm English myself. But I am sort of just trying my best. I did try to search up how to pronounce some of them. So some of them I think I was able to find, but others I struggled a bit. So I'm just sort of just going off of how I think they might be pronounced. But again, maybe all of them, maybe some of them are going to be wrong. So just let me know. But thanks for bearing with me. And back to the story. So she appears in the Ulster cycle, which dates back to the 8th and 11th century through oral retellings, and are preserved in the 12th century through manuscripts called the Book of the Duncow and the Book of Leinster. So Scáthach is a figure in the Ulster cycle of Irish mythology. She is a legendary Scottish warrior woman and martial arts teacher who trained the legendary Ulster hero Cullen in the arts of combat. Now, texts describe her homeland as Scotland, and she is especially associated with the Isle of Skye, where her residence Dún Skye stands. In the story where she appears and instructs Cullen is honor bound to perform a number of tasks before he's found worthy to marry his beloved Emer, daughter of the chieftain Forgal monarch. Cullen is sent to Alpay to train and learn from the warrior Domhnall. He's sent with a few others. There's two different tellings of the stories, and in one of them he's sent with two other people, and in the third one he's sent with a third person. I would try to pronounce their names, but their names seem more difficult to pronounce. But I will add images on screen so you can see excerpts of what I'm reading anyway, just to give you an idea of the characters. So they're sent to Domhnall to train, and in the process Domhnall's hideous daughter falls in love with Cuchulainn, and after being spurned by him, she enacts her revenge by separating him from his companions using a magical illusion. After some time, Domhnall then assigns them to the care of Scáthach for further training. So Cuchulainn and his companions travel to Dunsky, where Scáthach teaches them feats of arms and gives Cuchulainn a deadly spear, the Gaebolg. Cuchulainn begins an affair with Scáthach's daughter, Urhach, but accidentally breaks her fingers in the process. She screams, calling her lover to the room. Despite Urhach's protests, he challenges Cuchulainn to a duel, and Cuchulainn dispatches him easily. To make it up to Urhach and Scáthach, Cuchulainn assumes Cathcar's duties and becomes Urhach's lover. Scáthach eventually promises her daughter to him without requiring the traditional bride price, when her rival, the warrior woman Aoife, threatens her territory. Cuchulainn battles Aoife and manages to defeat her through distracting her with lies. With his sword at her throat, he bargains with her that he will spare her life under the conditions that she will cease her conflicts with Scáthach, and that she will allow him to impregnate her, so that she will bear him a son. This leaves Aoife pregnant with his son, Connla, whom Cuchulainn kills years later, only realizing who Connla is after he has slain him. This was due to when Connla became of age, Aoife sent him to go and look for Cuchulainn, but Cuchulainn had told her that when she sends him to go and look for him, that he cannot reveal who he is. So because of that, when Connla went to find Cuchulainn, due to all the things that he was doing and the monstrous strength that he had and the feats that he could accomplish, it worried everyone, and so Cuchulainn was called in to face him and accidentally killed him in the process, not realizing until afterwards that that was his son. Now there's even more to Scáthach's story as well. So her story doesn't just involve her training men to fight, she also eventually becomes a goddess of the dead. And if a warrior was able to prove worthy enough to best her in combat in their mortal life, then they could enter the land of eternal youth as a reward. So it just goes to show that there's so much more to this character than, for example, just being a trainer. That she was a warrior lady, and that she also was a goddess of the dead as well, being able to even shepherd people over to the other side, showing just how versatile she was, and just how interesting of a character she was. Part 3. Similarities and Inspiration. One of the key similarities between Scathe and Scáthach is that they are great teachers of great warriors. From the artifacts in her house, Scathe has trained the likes of Wukong, the Monkey King, Cuchulainn, the Hound Warrior of Culainn, and Perseus, Slayer of Medusa, amongst other heroes and warriors. They also have ties to being warrior goddesses, with Scathe having fought in the early First One War. She was also a key member of that war, one of the people cited with driving Malakoth back and ending the war. When making Scathe, I sought out warrior and teacher goddesses who you might not hear much about. While Greek, Norse and Egyptian gods and goddesses are usually the most talked about, I thought it would be interesting to use characters from different mythologies, who people might not talk too much about. I wanted to make sure that I did right by the character, and I did my best to research as much as I could about the character, to make Scathe a bit lore accurate while putting a nice spin on it. So thank you everyone for watching this video, and what did you think of it? It's different to my usual readings, as rather than this being an original story, instead I'm telling a story of a character from real world myth and legend. But I thought it'd be nice to create a series that incorporates real life myth and legend, especially because it was these stories that got me into writing in the first place. I've always had a huge interest in myths and legends, in fantastical tales from religion and history, which is why it was always my dream to create a book series that incorporates those myths and legends. So if you like this video, make sure to hit like, subscribe and comment what you enjoyed about it, or what you didn't, as there's always room for improvement. And so with that, I hope you have all sufficiently warmed up and that this story has brought you some level of comfort. I wish you safe travels on the journey of life, and feel free to come back again whenever you need a new story to warm your day.